Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kayla.
We begin with breaking news. Authorities in Randolph County say the body of missing teenager Kayla Huff has been found. And we have new details since this story first broke during the KMU8 News Today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Taylor Freeman. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're learning more about how she was found, plus details on another suspect who's been charged in her disappearance. Kayla Huff is the 16-year-old who was reported missing last week. Around 3 o'clock this morning, Randolph County Sheriff Andy Boggs released a statement confirming her body was found. The search for her lasted just over a week. Her mother reported her missing back on May 6th, after Kayla's car was found abandoned outside a church in Moberly that same day.
In early May 2026, a missing teen case in Randolph County, Missouri, quickly turned into something far more serious. 16-year-old Kayla Huff disappeared on May 6th, prompting an urgent search involving law enforcement and volunteers across the Moberly area. 7 days later, on May 13th, Kayla was found dead in the Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area. Investigators confirmed the case was being treated as a homicide, and within days, multiple arrests followed as prosecutors began outlining allegations tied to her disappearance. What happened between May 6th and May 13th? And how did a missing person search become a homicide investigation? Before we begin, welcome to True Crime Diaries, where we examine real criminal cases, major investigations, and the verified details behind the headlines. If you value fact-based true crime coverage, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss a new case. Every story we cover involves real people and real consequences. Our goal is to focus on verified information, documented timelines, and the facts available at the time. Now, let's get into today's case. To understand why this case hit the community so hard, it's important to understand who Kayla Huff was beyond the headlines. Kayla was 16 years old and lived in the Moberly area of Missouri. According to her family, she was outgoing and deeply social, someone who easily connected with people around her. Her father later described her as a social butterfly, saying she had a habit of checking on others and bringing energy into a room. Kayla attended school through the Moberly School District's virtual program and had also been working locally. Family members said coworkers remembered her for being talkative and positive, even during stressful days. As concern over her disappearance spread, community members organized searches, shared flyers online, and followed updates closely, a reflection of how many people were hoping she would return safely. By the morning of Wednesday, May 6th, concern around Kayla Huff began building fast. According to investigators, the 16-year-old was last seen in the Moberly area before communication with her stopped unexpectedly. Not long after, authorities located Kayla's vehicle abandoned on Rollins Street in Moberly, near a local church. For family members and investigators, the discovery raised immediate concern because there was no clear explanation for why the car had been left there. As the day moved into night, loved ones turned to social media, asking for information and urging people in the area to stay alert. Law enforcement launched a missing person investigation, while volunteers began organizing search efforts across Randolph County. Over the next several days, search teams focused heavily on the Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area, a large wooded region outside Moberly. Deputies, conservation officers, drone teams, horseback riders, and local volunteers searched difficult terrain as public concern continued to grow. Then, on May 13th, the case changed. Authorities confirmed Kayla had been found deceased in the conservation area, shifting the investigation from a missing person search to a homicide case. As search efforts intensified, investigators began following leads that suggested Kayla Huff's disappearance may not have been voluntary. By May 9th, 3 days after she was reported missing, authorities confirmed a 17-year-old had been taken into custody in connection with the investigation, though officials released limited information because the person was a juvenile. The investigation accelerated after Kayla was found on May 13th. Court records filed in Randolph County alleged that multiple people had knowledge of what happened and, in some cases, participated in actions before and after Kayla's death. Prosecutors later filed charges against several adults, including allegations tied to kidnapping, evidence tampering, and homicide. According to probable cause statements, investigators allege Kayla was taken against her will and transported to the Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area. Court documents further allege violence occurred there before she was killed. Because the case is still moving through the legal system, these claims remain allegations presented by prosecutors and have not yet been tested at trial. Investigators also alleged attempts were made to conceal evidence after the crime. Search warrants, interviews, and statements from individuals connected to the case became central to building the timeline prosecutors say led to multiple arrests. In the days after Kayla Huff was found, investigators announced multiple arrests connected to the case. Prosecutors in Randolph County later outlined a series of charges against several individuals, while emphasizing that the investigation was still developing. Court records show that Alaina Mason and Hunter Ames were charged with first-degree murder and kidnapping in connection with Kayla's death. Prosecutors allege both played key roles in events leading up to the homicide. As with all criminal proceedings, these allegations have not been proven in court. Christopher Hull and Julian Mason were also charged in relation to the case. According to charging documents, prosecutors accused them of involvement connected to kidnapping allegations and actions investigators say occurred after Kayla's disappearance. Separate filings also included accusations tied to tampering with evidence.
Honestly, Kayla was probably the sweetest girl I know. She genuinely lit up the room. When she walked in, the room just got lighter.
The 16-year-old girl reported missing in Randolph County has been found dead, and now 4 people are charged in the case. A Randolph County resident discovered Kayla Huff's body last night in a wooded area in the Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. I'm Taylor Freeman. Hundreds of people have searched this area since she was reported missing last week. But tonight we have live team coverage. We begin with KMUH's Casey Bennett, who was in court for the arraignment today. He joins us live from the Randolph County Courthouse now. Casey.
Taylor, family and friends of Kayla Huff filled the courtroom today. Also filling the courtroom just a few hours ago, tears and hugs. Those mourning, searching for justice. 4 suspects are charged in connection to the disappearance of 16-year-old Kayla Huff. Court documents allege Alaina Mason and an unnamed suspect kidnapped someone in Randolph County the same day Huff went missing. Documents go on to say, after getting a pistol from Hunter Ames, Mason and the unnamed suspect took the victim to Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area and killed them. The Randolph County prosecutor says her office is attempting to piece it all together.
We are going to have to look at what the evidence reveals, if we can learn anything about cause of death, manner, time, anything that may put some of those pieces together to meet the elements of that.
The sheriff says the investigation could bring changes to the penalties.
Once my investigators are finished with, the autopsy and different things today, then we will be asking to upgrade charges.
A sentiment that is shared by the prosecuting office.
We will regroup with the evidence that's learned from that and sit down and determine what, if any, additional charges might be appropriate.
As it stands right now, Alaina Mason, Christopher Hull, and Hunter Ames are all charged with first-degree kidnapping. The suspect charged today, Julian Mason, along with Hull and Ames, also faces charges of tampering with evidence in a felony prosecution. And all of their bond hearings are scheduled for this coming Monday on May 18th at 1:30 p.m. And this has been a tough week for the Randolph County community as a whole. And let's bring in KMUH Jacob Siciliano now with the community reaction to this tragic news.
It's a community in mourning, Casey. When the sun rose this morning, the news broke that nobody in this community wanted to hear. Teenager Kayla Huff was found dead in Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area around 8 o'clock last night. Many said that she was really a light to the world. But as the sun sets here in Moberly, an entire community is reeling from learning that that very light was snuffed out. Hundreds took to social media saying things like, "This absolutely shakes me. Why would you do this to a child? And we will never forget your smile." People also took to social media to talk about how they could support the Huff family, including community food trains. A local pastor says that he's seen the community come together through this horrible incident.
Family members, strangers, they've all just come together and they are just building up and lifting up this family.
Randy Paxson is the pastor here at Immaculate Baptist Church. He watched Kayla Huff grow up in this church. She was a community member. She was a leader in this church. She was a Sunday school teacher. She helped with vacation Bible study. She was a youth leader as well. But now she's just a memory here. They're building right now a garden to commemorate her and her time here on this earth and what she was as a person, not to just this place, but the light she was to the whole world.
The 17-year-old was additionally taken into custody earlier in the investigation, though juvenile proceedings remain largely sealed under Missouri law. By mid-May, what began as a missing person search had become a complex criminal case involving multiple defendants and serious felony charges. Even with multiple arrests and serious charges filed, several important questions in Kayla Huff's case remain unresolved. Investigators and prosecutors have publicly outlined allegations, but many of the details that could explain motive, planning, and individual responsibility are still expected to be examined through court proceedings. Authorities have not publicly confirmed a motive behind Kayla's death. Court filings describe what investigators believe happened, but key evidence, including testimony, digital records, forensic findings, and cross-examination, has not yet been fully presented in open court. What is clear is the impact the case left on Randolph County. During the search, volunteers spent days covering wooded terrain. Local residents shared missing posters widely, and community members later organized memorial efforts in Kayla's name.
KUMU8's Will Fira went to Moberly for a memorial this afternoon. He's here now to tell us about the impact Huff had on her community.
Hundreds of people came out today to pay their respects and celebrate the life of the Moberly teen who was killed earlier this month. So many that planners had to organize a shuttle service for overflow parking. This afternoon, people filled these parking lots at Moberly Community College. There was visitation, followed by a celebration of life for Kayla Huff inside the school's activity center. The 16-year-old went missing May 6th. A volunteer searcher found her body in the Rudolph Bennett Conservation Area last week. I talked to one family friend who says hearing about Huff's killing was traumatic.
I mean, it was very traumatic hearing about it.
But she's been inspired to see the community come together.
Seeing the community come together, just the search for her and being here for the family today is amazing.
I'm here outside Emmanuel Baptist Church where the community's come together to create a memorial garden for Kayla. Flowers, a bench, a cross, and a plaque with her name on it. Kendall remembers family fish fries together and says Kayla was a bright light.
Kayla was, when she was little, she was pretty much the light of the room, my little shadow when she was younger.
As the legal process moves forward, the case now shifts from investigators to the courts. For Kayla Huff's family and community, the focus remains on seeking answers while remembering a 16-year-old whose disappearance changed many lives. As this case continues to move through the court system, many of the details surrounding what happened to Kayla Huff are still expected to come out during legal proceedings. For now, what remains are the confirmed facts from investigators, the charges filed in Randolph County, and a community still waiting for full answers. We'll continue to follow this case closely and provide updates as official information is released and court proceedings progress. As this case continues to move through the court system, many details about what led to Kayla Huff's death are still being examined through formal legal proceedings. What has been confirmed so far comes from law enforcement statements, charging documents, and ongoing investigations, all of which remain subject to evidence presented in court. For now, the focus shifts away from speculation and toward the judicial process, where testimony, forensic evidence, and legal arguments will determine what is ultimately proven. We will continue to follow verified updates from official sources as this case develops, and provide factual summaries as new information is released. That concludes today's case, but the investigation is still ongoing, and many details will only become clearer as the legal process continues in court. At True Crime Diaries, our focus remains on verified information, official records, and updates from credible sources as cases develop. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider subscribing liking the video, and turning on notifications so you don't miss future updates on ongoing cases. Thank you for watching. We'll continue following this case and bring updates as new verified information becomes available.